One of the worst parts of being a pastor has always been doing funerals for people and walking through those hard moments with them. It has been the hardest thing for me. It's to the point even where my wife almost pulled the trigger and said, hey, you can't do any more funerals because of what it does to you. It just brings me real low. And so I did some real heavy introspective work trying to figure out, hey, Jesus, why do I get so low around these times? And you do all these crazy things in your head, right? Where you're like, well, I'm an empathetic person. Maybe that's why I'm drawn that way and I get so sad for other people. But Chris, you didn't really lose somebody, can't you? How do you separate those things? And I realized the pain wasn't just in the loss, it was in the fact that I have an inability to bring joy and hope where there's a finality of death in the midst of that moment. Like there's nothing I can do to bring that person back. There's nothing I can do to make that moment better. And so as I walked through funerals, I used to walk through them with this like terrible like worry and doubt and pain, and it was just low, 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 low. And so I started praying about it more, inviting Jesus into it more. God, like, what are you trying to teach me and carry me through? Because I tell you one thing that's not gonna stop happening. People aren't gonna stop dying. It's gonna keep happening. And if a call in my life is to step in pastorally in these moments, well then I better learn how to deal with these in a healthy way, to walk through them in a healthy way. And what happened from that moment on is God started entering in and redefining what that moment was for me. He started showing me that funerals aren't just about you, Chris, it's about you seeing me show up in the lives of other people. These moments in a funeral are actually sometimes my most powerful moments. Why? Because I get their attention. I open up with their mortality. These things can be used to see people come to know and follow Jesus in a way nothing else can. I felt this with my dad's passing, like something really heavy. It actually hung with me for a lot longer. He died at 52 years old. And so that marked my life in a negative way of, man, I'm probably gonna die when I'm 52. And I dealt with this fear of death and this like health anxiety that just kind of overtook me for a long period of time. And here I was trying to have to work it out every time I go into these things. I'm reminded that it all does end. And there's a finality to it. But what God did in my heart and started to change was actually change the perspective that it's a negative thing that I have to do them into. It's a positive perspective builder for my life. It's no longer, oh, woe is me, that I have to be part of them. It's a, wow, I get this incredible privilege. What honor to get to walk through this moment with a family and remind them of the hope that is in Jesus Christ. What a powerful moment that we get to see in conversations that I get to have to encourage people under the hope of the gospel of Jesus Christ. One that's never waning, never changing, even in the face of death. There's security in Jesus. And that's a hope that I get to hold on to. But there is still that finality, and there's a weight to it. There's a heavy weight to what we walk through in those moments.